Verse number 347. Paravarikatva vivekavanhi dahatya vidya gahanam hyasesham kim syat punah samsaranasya bijam advaita bhavam samupeyushosya. As we have been talking, that all our problem is because of ajnana. And morning class we were discussing that ajnanam is not opposite of jnanam. If we think that ajnanam is opposite of jnanam, then the jnanam is neither jnana. The jnanam that we discussed or discussing is satyam. That's why satyam jnanam anantam iti. That which is satyam, that is jnanam, and that has to be anantam. So if something is satyam, means that which exists in 3 periods of time, and again anantam, endless. That means how can this ajnanam will be opposite of jnanam? So we discussed ajnanam is called apurna jnanam iti. So in English we can put inadequate knowledge. So the ajnanam that we discuss is nothing but inadequate knowledge. Now here, what is that purna jnanam? So purna jnanam is being highlighted here. Para avara ekatvam iti. So the ekatvam, so ekatva bhava, the oneness, the identity between para and avara. Para means that which is absolute, that which is supreme. Avara is that which is not opposite. So indirectly, the identity, the oneness between the totality and the individuality. Now he says, look, this is what happens very nicely. This is para avara ekatva, this oneness, this understanding is called jnana. But we all have this jnana in different levels. Like even if a religious person says, I am a sinner, God is a merciful. But sometimes, especially in my case, most of the time, God is merciless. That's another point. But He is the embodiment of forgiveness. But I don't know why He does not forgive me. That's another problem. However, each one of us have some type of union or unity or the understanding of this identity between me and the God, the totality. But is it adequate? That's why inadequate knowledge of me and the God does not solve my purpose. That's why he says beautifully, when this adequate means seeing that there is no difference at all. And out of that Viveka. So here is very nicely highlighted Vanhi, example of Vanhi. Vanhi means fire. So the Viveka becomes Vanhi. So when there is this understanding, Now, because of this understanding, Viveka, the discriminative faculty is stronger. If you observe your day-to-day life, all your experiences supports your Viveka. Means, when, especially if you look at why do we go to elderly people when there is confusion? Because we assume the person has got maturity, the person has got a lot of experience from which the person has learned, and Viveka will be better. This is how the Viveka works. In your case, you can say, if you have knowledge, complete knowledge upon or about something, with reference to that thing, your Viveka, your discriminative faculty is stronger, unshakable, supposed to be, except in your personal case, okay? Because in your personal case, there is a conflict. Why and how, you know better. We'll talk some other time again, don't worry. That is our whole topic. Now here it says, Vivekavanni, like how the fire destroys anything and everything. So also Vivekavanni destroys the samsaya, the doubts. Because in our life, samsaya, the doubt is the problem, nothing else. Wherever there is samsaya, wherever there is doubt, that's why you say, samsaya atma vinashyati iti. The jiva, the individual who has got doubt, so doubting person is always a destroying person. That's why if you want to destroy a person, create some doubt and leave it. Don't worry. It will work like a virus. So that's why here it says, if this is the case, now what we should look at? Now this Vivekavanni, what will do? Vivekavanni dahati iti. So Vanni has to destroy. So what sort of it does? Destroys, does means really burns. How? Avidya gahanam iti. This avidya, this ignorance, that which is very thick, like a thick forest. Even if you cannot enter. But remember, once fire catches, it makes no difference whether it is 100 years old forest or 1000 years old forest. Do you see the difference? In fact, older forest is better for the fire. So here it says, avidya gahana. So the thick forest means either it is really, very less year or many lives, God knows what, makes no difference in all the way. It literally destroys, burns everything at once. And he says, look, not only that, he says, look, along with that, if you look at it very nicely, when it starts destroying very nicely, he says, look, ashesham kim shat punaha samsaranasya. And if you observe, if this happens, definitely the person samupeyushya. So the one who has understood this, the one who has understanding of this para avara jnanam, para avara ekatva bhavam is there with the person. That process, asya purushasya, what happens? And he says, look, because of this advaita bhavam, because of the non-duality thinking, non-duality understanding, definitely for that person, he says, look, samsaranasya bijam kim shat iti. So if you observe, for that particular person, the bijam means the seed. Seed of what? Seed of samsaranam, going to get next birth. So what is next birth? next birth is nothing but related to my unfulfilled desire. So if I have some type of unfulfilled desire anywhere in the corner of my mind, definitely again I am going to go through this samsara. Nobody can help me out either. So that's why here it says, look, this sort of person, definitely, because if there is a duality, there will be desire. You want to have that when you see that is different from you. If you see this, that is you, how can you look for? It's simple. So that's why here it says, when this state of non-duality, when the person really understands one's own self as the totality, definitely there is no seed. That's why, Kim Shatit, is there any seed that is going to lead for the next birth? Not possible. Next. Avaranasya nivrutir bhavati hi samyak padartha darshanatah mithya jnana vinasa stat vikshepa. Better to mithya jnana vinasa tat vikshepa janita dukkha nivrutihi. Says beautifully, avaranasya nivruti bhavati. How? Samyak padartha darshanatah. So that means samyak padartha darshanatah. So because of understanding the truth clearly. So the moment you see the padartha, so here padartha is me, myself. When I am understood very clearly, samyak rupe, without any doubt. So that means when well I am understood very well, because of that reason, what happens? He says, look, avaranasya nivruti bhavati. Indeed, what happens? Nivruti bhavati. Now the destruction or elimination of avaranam, the veiling, the covering, the ignorance takes place. Because as long as there is ignorance with reference to me, myself, so there is a covering. So that covering will continue as long as I have ignorance with reference to me, myself. So only with samyak padartha darshanatah. So when the truth, the reality is fully understood, then because of which what happens? Mithya jnana vinasa bhavati. You can bring that word. So mithya jnana vinasa bhavati. So automatically once I have knowledge, the illusory perception or projection definitely will get destroyed. There is no doubt in it. Because there is no space, there will be no room for me to project unnecessarily. And once this happens, says beautifully, because of which tad vikshepa janita dukkha nivruti bhavati iti. So once this mithya jnana vinasa bhavati, once the destruction of this projection or illusory concept take place, along with that dukkha nivruti. Dukkha nivruti means that dukkha means the misery. the destruction, the cessation of the misery happens. How it happens? Because he says, tad vikshepa janita iti. So what is our misery? Misery is nothing. It is the projection that is brought about because of the false or erroneous knowledge. So basically, whenever we are miserable, it is not because of the people, object, or the situation. Mainly because of the ignorance. That is the seed which creates some type of projection in me. And that projection, when I am not able to relate, I am not able to manage, that creates misery in me. Can you see this point? Because anytime. So it is not the object, not people, not anything. It is my projection. So because the ignorance is being taken care, ignorance is being, let us say, destroyed, or the cessation of the ignorance has happened already, that too without any remains, which will not further lead or create any sort of projection in me. And once there is no projection, definitely there cannot be any dukkham in me either. Read it next. Few verses. Etat tritayam drushtam samyak rajuswarupa vijnanat tasmad vastu satatvam jnatavyam bandha muktaye vidusha. So now few verses is going to highlight this cause and effect, how it happens. It says, look, etat tritrayam drushtam. So these three to be seen. So what are these three? Because all the time that drashta means the one who sees, the seer. Drishyam, the object that is being seen. And also this process of seeing, darshanam. These three to be seen. And me being a drashta, I need to see the drashta, drishyam, that I am also seeing or observing, also to be observed. Can you see this point? What we call as a technically triputi. These three things. So these three things to be understood very carefully. Me being a witness, as a shakshi, I need to see these three. Then only, remember, then only I will be able to make myself free from that. Very nicely, incidentally, I can share this example with you all. Last 2 days I have been thinking, in fact I shared with somebody which I have not shared in the class. So it's a very personal thing, but still I can share, nothing wrong in it. Like somebody, this ongoing problem. So somebody asked me, what is all about it, why not to do it? I said, look, this is nothing all about it. This is called ego game. So the other person thinks, this is what I openly said. I am not supposed to talk against anybody, but let me share. Because neither the other person is interested in the place. Because for him, the place is not required at all. Neither I am interested in the place. Can you see the funny thing? He does not want the place, nor I want the place. There is no need for any one of us to have that place. But we are fighting. Silently. That too silently. So why it happens? You can see this 340 concept, you will understand very carefully. Because of what? Because of the ego, nothing else. So both of us are ego fighting. So if I look at Swamiji very carefully, elderly person, so long staying here, and of course the other Swami was part of him. So all the way he is right. So he thinks, why should I? So that is his ego. I am not stupid. Sorry, I am not very humble person. I am also equally stupid. Remember? So I have my ego. That is what in fact I communicated to one of the Swami. I am also another stupid fellow. So what ego I have? So my ego is here. Hey, look, I am with Dharma. I have my Nyaya, means law in my hand. I have paper. I have everything. Why should I? That is also another type of ego. Can you see this point? So finally, we both are fighting with the ego. So in fact, I told very nicely, carefully to the person, I said, please allow, let the ego calm down. Once ego calms down, everything will be normal. You don't have to worry at all. It is a matter of time, which only time will bring down the ego, nothing else. And when I see this, that's why I could say, in fact, the other Swami said, how could you talk this thing? I said, I am seeing my ego here very carefully. I am also here an egoist. I am holding on to one standpoint. It is exactly, in fact, when he was talking, I said, look, it is exactly, I remember this Yudhishthira case. So Yudhishthira went through hell and make others to go through hell because of his ego. Because there was no need of Yudhishthira to put his brothers and including wife on bet in the dice. He knew it is wrong. But he had ego. The ego is what? I am for justice. I have given words. I have to protect. That I have to protect the words. That was his ego. And of course, when he asked all his brothers, they said, yes, we are with the brothers. We don't have any issue. So because of this sophisticated ego game, all of them had to go through. Okay, that had his own purpose. That's another thing altogether. But still, Yudhishthira also was part of it. So what I am highlighting here is understanding these three processes, being and witness. This is the point. That's why I gave my personal example. In fact, I am enjoying my ego now. Okay, continue as long as you want. Hey, but remember, you should calm down. You should really come to the point. Don't do all the nonsense. This is called teaching. Remember, teaching hits you directly. Nothing else. However, coming to the point, here it says that this wise person, because of this sin, how here it says, Samyak Raju Swarupa Vijnanat. So he gives one example. So Samyak Raju Swarupa, if you look at, when the person sees the rope very clearly, definitely with a reference to this with reference to rope, whatever projection the person had, that it is snake, it is going to kill me. What will happen to me? What will happen to my family? Because in 1 second, or fraction of second, what are the things flashes? And you shout loudly so that if I talk nicely, slowly, nobody can listen to it. Let me shout as loud as possible. Now it says everything will be destroyed. How? When there is a clear understanding of Raju Swarupa Vijnanatiti. So here is not here Vijnanata, because this is what people here Vijnanata can be shown when you experience. Okay, I am just trying to translate Vijnana. Everywhere Vijnana means they experience, but here they should when you experience the true nature of rope. So then a question comes: how to experience the true nature of rope? Should I become rope? You understand? But when it comes to, Swatma Vijnanat, there comes experiencing one's own self. So I was going through this translation. Here is apprehended. Very good, nothing wrong in it. It's acceptable. So where is this apprehension? But when it comes any other thing, experience, because they think this word experience is very easy, cheap. Okay? In fact, it's whatever word is easy and cheap is very confusing. Like the word I, me. The word I and me is very cheap. We all use very loosely. And it also creates all sort of confusion in our life. And if you observe, whatever words you use very often, that word always creates problem for you. In public speaking courses they teach, be watchful about the word that you are going to use very often. However, that's why they teach so, because like I use the word so you have to change however, therefore. So some changes again, so, okay, some changes have to be made time to time. Now, look, coming to the point here, as it happened, tasmat vastu satatvam gyatavyam bandhamuktaye vidusaiti. So by this wise person, definitely will be free from this bondage. When it will be free? When gyatavyam iti. So what is that? Vastu satatvam. So when the truth of the object, or here it says object means here is Atma, one's own self. The true nature of me, the truth is being understood, then automatically there is liberation. So that's why what happens? A wise person should look for it. Next. Ayognyo gadi vasat samannoyan. Matradirupena vijrumbhate dhi. Tatkaryametat ditiyam yato mrusham. Drushtam brahmaswapna manoratheshu. So gives again one example. When a piece of iron keeps in contact with fire, what it happens? Now the shape and size of iron becomes the shape and size of fire. In fact, they become inseparable for some time. The properties of fire becomes the properties of iron. Not only the iron gives light, becomes red color, also gives heat, also it starts burning. Even though this iron ball has no this sort of qualities, but because of association with the fire, now definitely it has all these qualities. Now this is what is going to arriving here. Same thing also the me and body mind complex. Ayah Agni Yogat Eva. As I look at, as any one of you can look at, this piece of iron, when it comes in contact with the fire, what happens? Same thing also. Sat samannuyat iti. So when now this body mind complex, because of contact with Sat, now he says, look, matradi rupena vijrumbhate iti. So matradi rupena. So it appears as though the scene, object of known, knower, and of course knowing all these processes. And of course where it happens, this is the job of the dhi, the buddhi, the intellect. And interestingly, even though this is not reality, but this becomes tat karyamiti, that becomes this effect of my intellect. Yetad ditiyam yatah drushtam brahma shupna manorathesu iti. So that means this, especially these two things, what are they? That knower and known is nothing but the effect of the intellect. And here, being the effect of intellect, remember, as the fire starts burning, as the iron starts burning, thinks that I am burning it, but in reality, because of the fire. Now, same thing also, neither fire, remember, fire is a fire. Here, me being me, now because of association of this buddhi and other things, now there is knower, there is object of knowledge or to be known. Now because of that reason, now I am having some type of confusion, I am having the delusion. And this delusion can be in any extent. It can be daydream, it can be real dream, or it can be my imagination or confusion. In fact, in Shastra we look at as the daydream is dangerous or is false, I would rather say dangerous is wrong word, is false, so also the real dream is also false. Now this world also false for us. It is only, as long as you are under the spell of daydream, you can see, especially these boys and girls, or when you are really seeking for something, when you are dreaming, how you look at as reality. You will not listen to anybody or anything. So also when a person is under the spell of dream, the person definitely thinks everything real until and unless wakes up. Same thing also, for a common person, this universe is like a dream, because under the spell and looks at as reality, but once wakes up, becomes wise, definitely this world falsifies as though a dream. Tato vikara prakuteraham mukha dehavasana visayascha sarve kshanenyatha bhavitaya hyamisha asattumatma tu kadapi nanyatha. So then what is to be done? So this is what one has to understand very nicely, that tataha, therefore, prakute vikaraha. In fact, everything, not only everything is vikara, is modification. So vikaraha prakutehi iti. So vikaraha prakutehi iti means this modification of this prakriti, that whatever we see it, and from where it says aham mukha dehavasana. So starting from ahankara, and of course ending with the deha, body. And says, okay, Visaya, sense subject, also along with the sense subjects. Sarve kshane anyatha bhavitaya. Very nicely, if you look at this particular thing, whether it is my ego or a gross body, and of course all these Vishaya, sense objects, all keeps changing. All goes through modification. And because they are changing, they are going through modification, then what happens? Anyatha bhavitaya, being subject to change, definitely they are called asattvam. So they becomes unreal. So there is no truth all about it. So if they are unreal, then what happens? Then what is real? Atma tu kadapi na anyatha iti. Whereas when they are subject to change every moment, Atma never ever changes. So when Atma kadapi, at any time, no, there is no other way at all. There is no change. So that means only Atma becomes the truth. Other than Atma, anything and everything becomes false. Please read the next. Nitya dvaya khandachide karupaha buddhyadi sakshi satsat vilakshanaha aham pada pratyalakshitartha pratik sadanandagana paratma. I know I am not giving much time to read, but I know what you are reading also. So however, let me go ahead. So again, because it really nice goes on and on. So nityaha advayaha akhanda chit ekarupa buddhyadi sakshi सत असत विलक्षण अहम पद प्रत्यय लक्षितार्थ प्रत्येक सदानंद घन परात्मा. One line. So the paratma, so the atma that is being discussed, that is called paratma here, the supreme self. So what does it mean? We can go from behind, okay? Sadananda ghana iti. So Sadananda, always happiness. And of course Ghanaha, thick, means really embodiment of happiness. Always. So Chit Ghana iti, that's why we use the word. And of course, it is Pratyek Atma, being Pratyek Atma. So Pratyek Atma means that which is available everywhere in everything. That's why it becomes very subjective. It is not objective either. And of course, aham pratyaya lakshitartha. So aham pratyaya lakshitartha means we have seen already jahad lakshana. So how to see, differentiate. Gangayam ghosha iti. I hope you remember all these things. Suppose somebody says there is a house in the Ganga. It's not there is the house in the Ganga. It is on the bank of Ganga. It means why it is running. What do you understand? Why it is running means what? White horse is running. Or if it is ashram, you say brahmachari is running. This is the difference. So you understand something, something is said, something you understand. And sometimes you add it. But here, Bhagatyaga Lakshana, you have to take one person, leave another person very carefully. So that is called here implied meaning. What is talked? Aham pada pratyaya lakshitartha iti. So this is something, the implied meaning of me, the word I. Because I know I am this deha manabuddhi iti. I know very well that I am the shariram, this body, mind, and of course the intellect. But in reality, I need to see more than this through this Bhagatyaga Lakshana. And what is that? He says, look, I am someone who is buddhyadi sakshi, the one who witnesses, including my buddhi, thinking that I am deciding my intellect. I am able to see. And what is that? Sat asat vilakshana. That which is free from, that which is different from, that which does not belong to any one category, neither sat nor asat, nor gross, neither gross nor subtle. And interestingly, that which is ekarupaha and chit, akhandaha, adveha, nitya iti. So being nitya, the eternal, and of course adveha means no duality at all. Akhandaha means there is no broken khanda, there is no pieces, means oneness. And chit, that is that which is knowledge. And of course ekarupaha as one form. And that me is something what? Buddhyadi sakshihi. I am someone who witnesses the intellect, impact, the deciding faculty, decision making faculty. And that who is sat asat vilakshana, distinct, free from both sat and asat. Aham pada pratyaya lakshartha iti. So that means I am the implied meaning of the word I, not locally. And that me is what? Pratyak sadananda ghana. Being pratyak, me being the totality, me being in me, sadananda ghana, sat ananda swarupa and ghana swarupa, chit ghana swarupa iti. And of course that is what? Paratma. That supreme, that is called supreme self. That is me. How is it? Did you understand anything? So I think today was very fast, this verse. I thought you are PhD student, so that's why I thought I can go ahead a little further, okay? So if you people behave like this, what can I do? Okay, enough today. Thank you very much. Please close your eyes.